Hey guys, in this video I'll be taking a look back at the 1996 Mr. Olympia. More specifically, I'll be comparing the top two, Dorian Yates and Shawn. I'll be going pose by pose to see who really won this Olympia, as both Dorian and Shawn presented amazing, yet exact opposite physiques. A quick thing to mention is that Nasser El-Sambati, the third place finisher, was disqualified due to diuretic use. However, he will appear in some of these shots. He brought an amazing package as well. However, his use of diuretics ultimately led him to fail the drug test, which, of course disqualified him from the Olympia. Now, before the video does start, if you enjoy my content, please consider liking and subscribing, as it helps grow my channel. With that all being said, let's get into this video. Starting off this comparison, here's the front double, and unfortunately, as you can see, the camera just zooms right past them, so we can't accurately compare them. Regardless, we do have a picture comparison, and here my eyes are immediately drawn to Shawn. His amazing vacuum pose creates a, great V-taper, and his flaring lats only accentuate it. From what I can see, he has razor-sharp separation in the quads along with symmetrical, well-developed arms. In contrast, Dorian lacks a lot of symmetry and consequently aesthetics. His left bicep is clearly torn, which ruins the flow altogether. He does have a better set of lats as well as larger, similarly separated quads. However, that torn bicep really does him in. Honestly, if he didn't have that problem and the overall imbalance, there would be a real argument for him winning the pose, but because it's a pretty big eyesore, he loses the pose. Here though, in the front lat spread, that arm problem is virtually non-existent, with Dorian absolutely smoking Shawn. Dorian's arms honestly look no worse than in their prime, and his lats are as good as they ever were. His waistline is pretty good too, showing equally impressive ab separation as Shawn, and he has a larger, better chest. Additionally, he is much wider across the shoulders, which gives him a huge advantage in the shot. To be fair though, Shawn has an amazing aesthetic front lat spread and may have better quads by virtue of aesthetics, but lacks that freaky, Dorian-esque aspect to the pose. I mean, come on. There's a reason the term Dorian-esque exists. Just look at him. In my mind, he 100% has the best front lat spread of all time, with others like Ronnie Coleman or Big Ramy up there as well. The side chest is a good shot for Shawn, but this pose might be the same story as the last, as Dorian appears to be out-muscling him like crazy. Right off the bat, you can notice that Dorian's chest is twice as thick, his arm is just as large and separated, and his side leg is in great condition and larger. Shawn is very statuesque here, but lacks that chest thickness, and doesn't look as imposing or rock solid in the side leg, arm, or delt. Honestly, if he had a thicker chest, I could easily see a serious argument for him winning. However, Dorian has it where it counts, which is obviously in the chest, so he wins this one. Moving on into the back poses, here's the rear double, and wow guys, I'm rather impressed with how well Shawn stacks up against Dorian. He has a ripped, thick, albeit not as wide, but super symmetrical back. His arms are superior, as we saw in the front double, as his bicep peaks are better and evenly shaped. Despite these solid qualities though, Dorian does win in the back, and rather convincingly. His traps, lats, and lower back are twice as large, thick, and conditioned, and of course he's not as symmetrical, but come on, the back looks nuts. The lower body is really close though, however I'd still give Dorian the advantage, as his glutes and hamstrings are larger and more freakishly conditioned. So I'd give the edge to Dorian, however Shawn isn't being pushed over in this shot. Here's the second back pose, the rear lat spread, and in it, Dorian is clearly winning. Now that the arms are taken out of consideration, Dorian absolutely obliterates Shawn in the upper half, clearly having a wider, more conditioned, and more densely muscled back. I'd still give Dorian the win in the lower half too, for the same reasons as in the rear double, as they appear drier overall. Although Dorian is winning, Shawn presents a very well-developed back too, but he lacks the width and separation to compete. Here's the side tricep, and wow, both present amazing side tries, but they are also complete opposites. Shawn is so aesthetic, showcasing his near-perfect midsection, thick chest, round-strided delt, great arm, and a large side leg. Although we can't see the entire lower half, Dorian displays a world-class trailing calf, a dry granite-like side leg, a huge arm, and a full chest. His delt is also really good, however his midsection looks extremely large in comparison to Shawn's. Tricep for tricep, I'd probably have to give it to Dorian, however let's take a second look at the shot. Okay, now we can see the entire pose, and in the middle is actually Nasser El-Sonbaty, who also has a great side tricep. Sticking to the top two though, my eyes are drawn to Dorian all day. His unique posing, standout calf, and huge arm all compensate for his rather unaesthetic midsection. Honestly, this pose is like apples versus oranges, so you guys should take your pick. Personally, I do prefer Dorian, but I wouldn't fault you for choosing Shawn. Alright, here's the last pose of this comparison, the ab and thigh, and interestingly, all three men present great poses. Shawn by far has the best midsection, while Nasser and Dorian beat him handily in the lats and quads in terms of size. However, in a pose like this, I feel that aesthetics are paramount, which is why Shawn is able to battle against these mass monsters. See, although Shawn doesn't have the largest quads, they are ripped and he has a great V-taper too. Dorian does have impressive lats and larger quads. However, his thicker midsection detracts from his overall aesthetics. Honestly, Nasser does have the best set of quads out of the three in my opinion, showing the best combination of aesthetics and size. However, between Dorian and Shawn, I'd have to give the entire pose to Shawn. Although it is closer than I anticipated, Shawn has way better aesthetics and flows so well in this pose that it's hard for me to deny him the win. Alright guys, that about does it for this video. In short, Dorian did win the comparison, only losing the ab and thigh and the front double to the smaller, more aesthetic Shawn Ray. Personally, I think that the outcome of the 1996 Olympia was fair and justified, as Dorian presented a very impressive physique regardless of the imbalances and imperfections he had. His conditioning and size were just too overwhelming for Shawn or any of the other competitors, as even shapely guys like Kevin or Flex stood no chance. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this brief overview of the 1996 Olympia top 2 and a brief glimpse of Nasser as well. Let me know what you guys think of this top 2, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.